Hi guys, welcome back to our little cottage here on the river in the far north of Idaho. Since the Christmas season has now officially arrived, in this video I am going to share with you 3 different homemade garland ideas, a Christmas cookie recipe, and some of our adventure into the mountains to find our Christmas tree. So here I am slicing some oranges to go into the dehydrator, and depending on how long your garland will be will determine how many orange slices you will need. So these garlands will also have some greenery on them, so there will need to be space in between each of the orange slices. And I used my little dehydrator that I have had for over a decade that just keeps going, but you do not have to use a dehydrator. You can absolutely put these in your oven and dry them out in your oven. And so I cut these slices about 1/4 inch thick. The drying time will depend on how thick your slices are. And I set my dehydrator to 135 degrees, so you'll want to set your oven to about that temperature. And they finished drying over the course of a couple days. I did turn the dehydrator off at night when we went to bed, just because I didn't want the dehydrator running unsupervised all night long, because there's no timer on it. So anyway, it took I would say a couple days, but not running the dehydrator at night. So as I said, it's you have to figure out and just keep checking them, because just depending on the humidity and how thick your slices are will just determine how long it's going to take you. So yeah, it's one of those things where I can't give you an exact time. You would just need to keep an eye on it and keep checking them. And we will come back to the orange garland a little later on. One of the funnest Christmas traditions, in my humble opinion, is baking Christmas cookies. And this year I signed up to bring Christmas cookies to church every single Sunday in the month of December. So for the first Sunday, I decided to make a big batch of classic molasses cookies. And my son has been asking when I was going to make my molasses cookies for the past several weeks, and so he finally got his wish. And to me, molasses cookies are one of the wonderful flavors and smells of the Christmas season. The smell and the taste whisk me back to my childhood and Christmases past. So I've played with this recipe over the years to make these molasses cookies exactly how I like them, which is slightly crispy on the outside, but also delightfully chewy on the inside. And so the full recipe is available over on my blog, homespunannie.com, and I will also have the recipe linked in the description box below. It has become one of our little family traditions that every year on the first Sunday after Thanksgiving, we go up into the mountains and find our Christmas tree. And we always make sure to find some snow as well. And this year I wanted to get some hemlock branches to use for my Christmas garlands.
Yeah, this is a really nice one here. Most of the dead stuff you see is stuff that fell off from higher up, so.
I think this is enough.
Mm-hmm.
Is it enough for like 2 or 3 garlands?
Yep.
Like, because it's not going to fill the whole, it's just going to be little parts of the garland. We also grabbed some old man's beard moss because I thought I might use it for my garlands as well, but I ended up not using it, but I still wanted to show in the video in case any of you have it where you live and you might be inspired to use it in some way for your own Christmas decorations.
It's a lot. Just all kind of.
Okay, we might have to grab more. Let me look at it. Can I look at it?
The thing is, like, when you spread it all out, the top of each bunch is these thick stems.
Oh,
So-
is this right here?
Yeah.
Because it's gonna hang off of the garland.
Yep.
So I might need more than that. We found the perfect spruce tree just off the side of the Forest Service road that we were on. And there have been years when we've hiked a little bit to find the perfect tree, but as soon as I saw this one, as we were driving by it, I knew it was the one. And Luke did have to cut it down a little bit, otherwise it would have been way too tall for our house. And we got it home and got it set up, but I decided to wait to decorate until the next day. Yeah. Woo. Yeah.
We never had spruce tree before.
No, it's so pretty though.
I might trim a branch or two off, but I'm gonna try not to. I think what's the?
So you're gonna hold it?
Well, just tell me what you think.
Oh, the best. Right there. It's good.
It's about right. It's pretty straight.
Ow! Keeps poking me.
Let me look down here, see if we're centered. Pretty close. That, right?
Yeah.
Looks better to me. Now let's see if it'll.
Look at it, Lucy.
I think
Yeah, it's so good.
your tripod had broke one little piece of it, but it didn't matter because it's.
Oh. once I got the tree decorated and put up a few other little Christmas decorations, it was time to work on the garlands. And the first garland I put together was a basic string of fresh cranberries. I used a yarn needle and simply strung the cranberries onto some yarn. I made sure to pick the berries that were nice and firm. You definitely don't want to use any mushy berries for this one. To make sure that the cranberries don't dry out too quickly, you will want to seal them. And so I took them outside and hung them up on my clothesline, and I sprayed them with a Mod Podge clear acrylic sealer. And you will need to do this about 3 or 4 times because it'll need 3 or 4 coats. So about every 20 minutes or so, I would go back out and give it another coat. And while I was in the process of putting the coats of sealer on the cranberry garland, I started working on the orange garland. And here you can see the lovely dehydrated orange slices that turned out beautifully. And so using the little yarn needle, I strung the oranges onto some twine, and I left about 2 to 3 inches between each orange slice. And I made 2 strings of these because I have 2 windows in my living room that these will be strung on. Then I went and cut little bits off of the hemlock branches I had collected on our hunt for our Christmas tree. Using smaller pieces of twine, I tied the bits of the hemlock to the twine in between the orange slices, and then I tied a cinnamon stick to the hemlock. I had some fake red berries that I had bought at the dollar store last year that needed to be used, and I decided that these garlands needed a little pop of red, and so I decided to use those little fake berries, and I put them on every other cinnamon stick. And so I tied them to the cinnamon stick, and I absolutely love how these garlands turned out. And then once the cranberries were all sealed and dried, I brought them back inside and hung them on my kitchen window. And these are such a simple, classic garland, but they are absolutely perfect and festive for the Christmas season. I had also cut 2 little baby trees while we were out hunting for our Christmas tree, and I brought them home and put them in my 2 little antique ironstone pitchers, and one was on my kitchen windowsill and then one went on the top of my little antique spice cupboard. And the last garland I made was a classic paper chain. And like the cranberry garland, this is a very simple, basic garland, but it's also such a delightful decoration for Christmas time. And I remember as a child, every year at school, making a paper chain to count down the days until Christmas. So these always have such a great childhood memory attached to them for me. And what's great about making paper chains is you can use whatever pattern or colored paper you would like based on the aesthetic that you're going for with your Christmas decorations. And so I went through my scrapbook and card making paper stash and decided on the red stripes and brown craft paper. And I think they look really vintage, which I love. You can also make the pieces as big and wide or as short and thin as you want. And I wanted these to be a little bit more petite, I guess you could say. And so I made them about 1 inch by 3 inches. And I absolutely love how they turned out and how they look on my antique bookshelf. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and share with someone else you think would enjoy it. And I will talk to you guys in the next video.